we can be feeling emotions a lot, but not actually healing and not actually getting anywhere. And you might feel this as like you're having breakthroughs, or you're having like these cathartic moments that produce tears, but you're not actually like changing certain patterns, or you feel like you're still stuck in the same patterns. The reason why this happens is because there's a difference between like being emotional versus actually feeling your repressed emotions and actually addressing the root, or the pinch point. Because the root cause can be like many things, but what I'm referring to is when like there's something, or there's like maybe there's like tension in your body in certain places, and you might cry and feel like temporary relief, but it's not really like releasing that tension on a visceral level, in a way where like you released it, like it's not coming back, like you unblocked the channel and now your energy can flow. And the best way that I like to think of this is like, so imagine that you have a boat, you're inside of a boat, and there's holes inside your boat, and you're scooping out the water, and that's like you crying, right? You're crying, you're releasing the pressure, the water, you're getting the water out, but you're not actually focusing on patching the leaks in the boat. And what this is on a nervous system level is like you have a trigger based off of, there's like a point of tension, there's a trauma, there's a belief stored in the body that's causing like a contraction. And like every time you encounter a trigger for this memory, your body floods with emotion, with stress, with fear, cortisol, whatever you want to call it. Like you get this emotional charge, and then you now need to discharge that emotional charge. But just because you discharged the emotional charge doesn't mean you stopped the leak, and the point where it's actually like entering your body, or I don't want to say entering, but the point where it's actually generating from. So the way that we do this is by actually addressing it. And you might feel apathy or anger or resentment over your healing process because you're like, it's been years, like why haven't I healed? And it can sometimes hurt to hear, like, because you still haven't addressed it. And you might think like, well, I've gone through all these things, I've done all this stuff. It's like, okay, that doesn't mean you actually addressed the thing yet. And that's okay, because it happens in time. And a lot of times bigger things we address later on in our journey, because we have to do a lot of groundwork before we even have the capacity to address certain things. Like you have to have the space within yourself for these things to open up. Otherwise they would just completely overtake you and you wouldn't actually heal. So how do we actually address things? I think the best way, if you don't know where it's coming from, is to like wait for the moment throughout your day or your week or whatever where you get triggered. And you'll know when you get triggered, because you'll feel like angry or sad or something, or you'll just feel like your emotions are like completely out of your control, and it's just this all-consuming like thing that's just taking you for a ride. And you'll be like, okay, like I can see this trigger here, and then being like, where is that coming from, or like what is this? And just like gently questioning. Most of it is just presence. Like most of it is just making the time to sit down and be like, what is that? Like what am I feeling? And then you just slowly start peeling back the layers a little bit at a time, and let go of the expectation of getting it all out at one point and having like this massive catharsis where it'll all be done at once. I think that's an important element of this as well. But like just making the time to sit with it and being like, where is this coming from? What is this? And essentially what you're trying to get at is like, what is the belief? What is the belief here that is causing this tension and this constriction, or this fear, or whatever it is? Like, maybe it's a fear, a belief, an experience, something. But realistically, like, it's not the experiences that we're going after, it's the beliefs that these experiences create that we're going after, so that we can change that belief. Because we can like sift through our traumas all day long, and it's just an endless kind of thing. So you really just want to be like, what's making me feel some type of way, and like, this is causing me a problem, so I would like to address it and like release it. And so as long as you follow an effective sequence, there are many out there, like everyone around us right now is selling their patented sequence of healing trauma or addressing trauma. You can do Alicia Woodford's core emotional healing method. You can do Mami Onami's book, Wheels Reinvented. You can do breath work. You can do cold plunges. You can do just sitting in silence. Like, the point is that there is a sequence where you first address it. You have to address it. Like, if you're sending a letter, you have to address the letter if you want it to get where it's going. So when you're trying to find a belief and emotion, you first have to address it. Then you can unpack it, and then you will feel the real emotions behind that. Not just like the stress cry that gives you temporary relief and whatever, but then you still are struggling. Like, you'll have that real catharsis where you break open, you feel yourself like actually tapping the root of it and actually feeling the emotions that come from that thing that you're trying to address, and you will have effectively patched the hole in your boat, so you can stop having to shovel the water out. And it can feel unfair because you're like, well, while I'm figuring out this process, while I'm trying to figure out where the holes are coming from in the boat, I still have to scoop the water out. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it is, you know. So still keep your practices, like keep your regulation techniques. But the positive side is that once you patch the leaks, then regulation doesn't become this all-consuming thing. Like, you don't have to spend your entire day or like a 5-hour morning routine to regulate yourself, because it's like you stopped, like, you know, there's no more water coming in, so you're good. And it really does get like this. Like, I used to spend so much time every single day trying to get myself to a state, and now it's much less of a time. Like, I do a morning routine, I do exercises, I breathe and all these things, but like, it's not nearly like as weighty as it was. So that's the good news about that. So yeah, that's what I have to share about this topic. And if you liked this information, if it helped you, like the video, subscribe. I'm gonna keep doing more like this. So thank you for watching.